Then drop one seed in each cell, fold them on a bed of water. The water will wick up from the bottom, and the temperature and the water will germinate the seedling. When those seedlings get 1/2 to 2 inches tall, we'll start clipping them. And we'll give them a flat top haircut every 3 to 5 days. And what that'll do is that'll allow the smaller ones to catch up with the bigger ones. And it'll also cause the bigger ones to grow a bigger stem and have more roots. And that's what'll make them strong when they go to the field, if they've got that extra root mass underneath of them, so that when it turns off hot and dry in the middle of summer, they'll have the roots to survive. When we built this greenhouse in 2005, we didn't put the mowing system in. That was an added expense. It's a lawnmower. The most important feature is that it has a bagger, so that when we clip those plants, we can take those clippings and toss them outside. We like to get them at least 100 yards away from the greenhouse, because that's a perfect breeding ground for disease. Ryan explained we went to a couple of classes through Extension on raising tobacco, and that was one of the things that they stress is when you clip your plants, first of all you want to make sure you use a sharp blade and a slow speed so that you don't pulverize that material, because you don't want all that pulp falling back down in the tray, because that's a perfect place to start a fungal or bacterial rot. And a lot of growers have problems with that, because the greenhouse is a perfect incubator for those kind of diseases. It's warm, it's moist. So anything that we can do to limit those problems, we will. And in years past, what we did, you see I've got the side curtain lowered. We would take the trays outside, and I've got a little frame built, and you set a push mower on top, and we would slide those trays underneath that mower, give them their haircut, and then put them back in. But it's a very labor-intensive process to take all them trays out and put them back in. Each one of these bays in here holds 88 trays, and there's 8 bays. So now with the overhead mowing, it's not something that's new. Everybody's got one. The last guy to join. So
the mower attaches to that center piece there, and it just.
When I picked it up, the guy didn't have all the rollers. So that red piece that's in the middle there is supposed to have some rollers on it so that it will travel. It will trolley this direction, and then the rail itself will bridge this direction. And there's a threaded rod on the mower so I can set the height. And because each one of these bays will be filled with water, as long as I fill them all to the same level, all of those trays will be level, so that when I set the height of the mower, I'll go from one end to the other. If I happen to have a bay that's a little higher or a little lower than the others, I may have to do it separate. But still, I won't have to remove all my trays and then put them back on the water.
You just got to be real careful using that mower that it doesn't destroy the plants.
It's a pretty rigid attachment. We built Ryan's greenhouse last year, and he bought it off another producer who quit raising tobacco. And it had the mowing system, and I had never fooled with one, but we went ahead and installed it in his greenhouse, and he mowed his entire greenhouse in about half an hour.
Worked good for him?
It takes 4 of us about half a day to do this one, the hard way.
That's huge time saving right there.
That's what I'm after.
Especially you have to do it how many times?
3 to 5 days. Now because mine was so difficult, I did it every 7 days, but you're still going to have to do it 3 or 4 times. And I estimated it cost about $1 a tray in labor.
Now does it move automatically, or do you have to adjust it every time it comes up and down?
You'll manually move it. You'll use the rope to adjust it this way. We haven't put the rope on yet, but there's a rope that will move the device this way.
Okay.
And then you'll push it. Because you'll have to walk here in the center.
Okay.
Because everywhere else will be filled with water and trays. We're not all about heating useless space. If we're going to pump heat in here, we're going to have it full of plants. So I had them get some water started, because it's going to take several hours for that bay to fill. But if we can get at least the bottom of it covered, then we can go ahead and float trays.
Now these will all hold water in them?
Yeah. Yeah, they hold 88 trays down there, those 6. And this one we're standing in holds 72. And I've left out a very small area on that end because that's where I've got the electrical panel and the furnace. So if I have problems at the electrical panel, I can at least get in here and get it fixed. And then this bay over here, tables are set holds 80. Total capacity of the greenhouse is 680.
680 trays. And how many plants per tray?
288 cells. I bought this tray in 2008.
And each cell represents one plant. Nice.
Now, in an ideal world, there would be one usable plant in every cell. But because some of the seeds won't germinate, there will be some blanks. And because some of the plants will be too small to go to the field at transplanting, those will be some blanks. So out of this 288 cell count tray, I'm going to count on 230 usable plants and hope for 250. It's all about a percentage of usable plants. And the higher that percentage is, the lower my cost. So we'll do everything we can in here to make sure that we've got good usable plants. And you asked earlier about the dibbler. They found that making that little divot in the potting soil
Retains water better, or?
It creates a little...
This is called what?
A dibble.
A dibble?
It creates a little micro environment for that little seedling. To where the temperature and the humidity is more favorable for germination. So at the university they did some tests where they seeded 10 trays without a dibble and they seeded 10 trays with a dibble, and a few weeks later they counted how many they had, and it made a difference of about 20%.
Nice.
But these practices that you'll see us using today are not new. My dad built his first greenhouse in 1990. I was 10. So prior to that, we grew our plants in a bed on the ground, 10 feet wide, 100 feet long. It's called a plant bed.